Our last guest today is Cortney Casey, managing partner for Blue Skies Brewery and Michigan by the Bottle. Cortney, how are you guys doing?
That seems to be the big question these days. And all of us small business owners, when we ask each other that, we're kind of like, you know, good for Corona times. You know what I mean? It's up and down. It's been difficult. We're on day 29 of the second shutdown. And I think we all are aware, even though we don't have formal word from the state, that we probably aren't going to be reopening until at least after the new year. So it's been difficult for sure.
And I know, for so many people, I think they don't understand the impact and how long it could actually take a business such as yours to recover. I know that you're trying to do what you can to stay open, but what percentage of your business are you doing right now?
I would say that we are probably doing about 5 to 10% of our business for Michigan by the Bottle. We have 3 locations, 2 of them in Oakland County, 1 in Macomb County. And then I feel like we never really got off the ground with Blue Skies because we opened, we were supposed to open in March. We all know what happened with that. So we were able to fortunately open for Curbside in May and then finally open for dine-in in June. But, it's been tricky, at least with Michigan by the Bottle. We've been established for almost 8 years now. Blue Skies, it's been hard. I think a lot of people, our guests have been amazing. I can't thank our guests enough. But I'm one of these people too that can't help reading people's comments in the comment section on Facebook, and I get sucked in. My husband's
Don't read the comments. You never read the comments.
I see so many people commenting on these stories about small businesses and saying, well, they just need to be more innovative. And I guess if they don't make it through, then they weren't really meant to survive. And I think the message that I would really love to get out to people who maybe don't understand is I would never compare our experience to that of frontline health workers or people who have been ill or people who have family members that have been ill. But just speaking from my experience, that I know a lot of people who don't own a small business wouldn't see this side, is that everyone is innovating. I mean, I have acquaintances and friends who have fine dining restaurants who are now, schlepping burgers and carryout containers trying to stay alive. And thankfully we have the support of our guests, but, doing just a small percentage of our business, I'm definitely not getting into a debate about whether we should be open for safety purposes, but just in terms of, we really need some governmental support. I think a lot of us are concerned that this shutdown happened without a firm plan in place for relief. And I know this is our second time laying off about 25 employees for the year. And it's really heartbreaking when your team members are begging you for hours because they rely on you for their car payment, and unemployment isn't doing it for them. Even if they have a regular, day job, they're not able to make ends meet. And it's just really, it's heart-wrenching. And I think thoughts and prayers aren't going to get small businesses through the winter, so we're all doing our best to be innovative, trying all kinds of new things to try and attract customers in a safe way. But it's been tricky. It's been tricky.
Well, for so many people, it's not just about curbside and going there to get a takeout. If you go to a restaurant, you spend more money because, you are having drinks or you'll order that extra appetizer. And so that all adds up.
Yeah.
And it makes your bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a awesome point that I think a lot of people are missing in the whole discussion, is that people don't just go to a restaurant for food, and they don't just go to a wine bar so they can drink wine. Our whole business is built around the idea of having an experience and providing an experience for our guests. So in a normal year, we would be doing tons of events with winemakers. We would be doing special dinners and, all kinds of events, which we understand why we can't do that right now. But I think then that's what people maybe don't see, is that, yes, we can do curbside and we can do things. We're so grateful that we still are able to operate a small percentage of our business, but we can't provide that experience, and neither can any other small business right now that has this kind of service. So it really takes away a lot. And so it's impossible to make up for with just curbside. And I think you've seen that trend a lot with wineries across the state as well. Not just us, but there's really been a refocusing over the last few years towards not just like, here, try some wine, take some home. Okay, bye. It's come hang with us, come get to know our staff, come to our events, and we feel like family, and here's, you know, this great place that you feel like you're home at when you go there. And without that, I think there's a lot lost. So
Now, were you able to do any type of outdoor dining?
So at our Auburn Hills location, we did have an outdoor patio throughout the summer. We did take it down November 15th to allow the city for snow plowing if necessary, because it is a lot on the city property, which we're very thankful that the city of Auburn Hills has worked with us to really expand our outdoor seating. We are working on getting some, not quite igloos, but like bubbles that we are hoping will be in soon. But I'm also nervous. You know, you see all these things online about regulations changing in different states quickly. And so I think everyone's a little scared to put a lot of money into money that nobody really has right now into developing these really extensive outdoor options, not knowing how long you know, if there's going to be an extension of the stay at home, or, you know, there's going to be any more regulations on outdoor dining. So we are going to be trying some things here, especially at our Auburn Hills location where we have more outdoor space, hopefully in the next few weeks. But it's been tricky. And I mean, I know a lot of people who say like, hey, just open up outside, we'll be there. But, you know, it's one thing when it's 50 or 40. It's starting to get down into that Michigan cold right now. And I think a lot of people are really not going to want to be outside. I know I don't like being outside when it's this cold. So.
Well, and that's the other thing is you have to have your staff out there.
Right.
As well. You know, it's like, yeah, come stay outside, you know, for 8 hours at a time.
Honestly, I think they'd be happy though, because I know that we have only a few people working right now, but they're like, oh my God, we would give anything to be serving customers right now. Just, you know, like I said, we all understand why we can't right now, but they're like, oh my God, we miss the people, we miss the interaction, we miss seeing our regulars who are like family members to us and being able to have conversations with people versus just kind of being a pop in and shop and everyone goes on their way. And, you know, it's just not the same. So
there's also been a difference within communities as well, because it's supposed to be, if you have a tent, it has to be open on 3 sides. So I don't understand the igloos, why they're allowed, but I have seen some restaurants that are doing the tents, like it's almost like the army tents, that heavy canvas, but they're closed. I mean, you have a flap, but they are closed. So that makes it hard as well, because it's like you said, do you invest in it? Do you not? And then what if it changes again?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of confusion out there too about what's actually allowed. I believe that you have to have at least one side open on a tent. I think the argument for like the igloos and the bubbles is that you're advising people that they should be with their quarantine pod or their household. So it's more of an enclosed area with people that you are you know, already in your bubble, so to speak, versus mingling with the general public. But yeah, it's getting really confusing. And I know there's a lot of those joking memes that are like, you can only eat outside if you bring the inside outside and all that. But, and speaking of communities, I mean, I think another thing that's really overlooked is, like you were mentioning about small businesses being really a big part of the community. I think a lot of people don't realize what their communities will look like without small businesses. Walmart's going to make it through this. Amazon's going to make it through this. You're still going to have McDonald's after all this. But I think what I'd really hope that our legislators at every level are really looking at is what kind of impact this will have on the community if your small businesses go out of business. I mean, I think it's being a little penny wise and pound foolish to not have any relief, significant relief planned for restaurants and small businesses, because what every community is going to look like if all we have left are big box stores and nothing else. I think people are going to be shocked by what the difference in their community that they don't realize that small businesses and family-owned businesses provide. And I think too, a lot of people see the word business and they think, oh, well, business owners, they must be rich, they own a business. And that's not really the case for most small businesses. And so what we've been kind of trying to communicate to people is behind every small business is a family. So, you know, it's not just when you see someone saying, oh, I'm afraid of my small business not making it. People seem sometimes a little bit indifferent to that. But if you say my family is scared, I'm scared for my family. I'm scared for my staff members who are like family. I'm scared for my, you know, for this whole community that we've built for our business that feels like family with our regulars and our customers. You know, I think that kind of puts a different light on it. And so I think all the restaurants and bars are hoping that there's a plan ahead I know Oakland County has been doing a lot to support us. Auburn Hills, City of Auburn Hills has been doing a lot. But I mean, at the state and federal level, we need help. Everybody needs help. So.
Well, and we see there are grants out there. Have you been able to get some? Because that's been part of the problem too. The need is so much greater than the help being offered.
Yeah, and we are so grateful for any opportunity that we can have to get some assistance. And, I think in our case and in a lot of small business cases, this is assistance that we would never have needed if not for this whole situation, So, I think things were going really well before Corona. But yeah, I mean, just as an example, my husband is kind of his new full-time job is, applying for grants. We joke. And there was the Pure Michigan initiative the other day for small businesses. And we, our City of Auburn Hills kept reminding us, make sure you're online at this time. It's first come, first serve. We're like, okay, we were ready. My husband was on at 8:58, reloading. 9:00 comes around. He's in right at 9. He was put in a waiting room and he had 1,400 people ahead of him. The grant was meant to support about 650 small businesses throughout the state. I had friends who got on at 9:01 and waited until 9:00 at night with 14,000 people in front of them, and were told that the grant window was closed because there were too many applicants. So it just underscores the need. Even if your small business was rocking and rolling before Corona, there's no one who is in the situation they thought they would be in at this point. And there's really no way for any small business to plan for something like this. Just like there was no way for anybody to plan for, any family or anybody to plan for something like this. So.
When you talk about the grant, those numbers, that is scary. That is scary.
Yeah.
And I know, so from that, because when we do have elected leaders on, or we hear from elected leaders in press conferences and this, that, and the other, it seems there's a lot of finger pointing at parties.
Yeah.
But it's like, do you feel like, are you frustrated with the elected leaders at this point?
I am a little bit, and I'm also frustrated just at the general public in terms of the politicizing of everything this year. I mean, I know it's a stressful year. It's a year that it's unprecedented. Nobody has ever dealt with this unless they were alive in 1918. And I'm sure things were very different back then too. But, I'm frustrated. I do think that a lot of our leaders are making decisions that they think is the best for everybody, which I understand. And I understand that they're making really, really difficult decisions. But I think from a small business point of view, it's really stressful to see everybody politicizing this, everybody making it into a Republican versus Democrat thing when everybody's here saying, we need help, just please stop fighting from a party standpoint and stop blaming everybody else, and just please work together so that we can all come out of this with something, with our community still intact. I mean, I get it. There's hard decisions being made, and I don't envy any of these politicians having to make these hard decisions. But it is scary when you feel like the politics have taken over instead of this being a human issue. It's become a political issue, and it should really just be a human issue, because none of us are living the 2020 that we thought we would be living right now. So
right, we're all counting down for 2021. Just a couple more minutes with you here, Cortney. Do you want to talk about some of the things that you have going on that maybe the public can take advantage of?
Yeah, we appreciate that. So one of the things that I really love, especially for Blue Skies Auburn Hills, we really love the community that we're part of down here in downtown. We have Blue Skies Auburn Hills right next to Michigan by the Bottle Auburn Hills. My husband and I own all 3 Michigan by the Bottle locations, managing partners for Blue Skies. We've decided to work together with some of our neighbors in downtown Auburn Hills, namely Larco Brothers Pizzeria and Family Table Cafe, which we live in downtown Auburn Hills, so we eat there pretty much every day. So we know the people there, and we feel very close to them. So we're doing a special right now where if people go to Larco's or they go to Family Table Cafe on the weekend and bring in their same day receipt to Blue Skies Auburn Hills, they'll get $5 off a growler fill or refill. So that's just during our Friday through Sunday drop-in retail hours. We have had to go down to appointment only at Blue Skies Monday through Thursday just because we can't afford to have staff there. But since my husband and I live so close, if people email us, we go over there within like 10 minutes and fill growlers and everything. So it seems to be working out, but But then over at MBTB, we're doing a 12 days of Christmas countdown. It's just one of the examples of things that we're trying to do to keep people upbeat and having fun and like a new way to engage with us. So we're doing a Facebook Live every night at 8:30 where we count down the contents of these surprise cases that we've been selling the last few weeks. And people seem to really be enjoying that. We've also been doing something called Corona Cast on Sundays, my husband and I, where we basically do wine tastings on Sunday nights. And we have kind of a solid group of followers that have tuned in every Sunday. I think we took a few weeks off in between, so we're on Corona Cast like 36 right now or something. So people tune in every week and we joke around and talk about wine. We also have a holiday preparedness kit discount at our Auburn Hills location for MBTB, where you can assemble a case or a half case from a list of about 200 wines and get a 15% discount on a case and a 10% discount on a half case. And we have a gift card special at all of our locations right now where you get bonus cards when you buy $100 or $50 in gift cards. So trying to keep up creative ways. This is definitely our busiest time of the year. For our partner wineries at Michigan by the Bottle, we're teamed up with a lot of wineries throughout Michigan, small family-owned businesses. So for them, the summer is actually their big season. So luckily for them, they had a great summer from so many people traveling up north and being able to be outside. But unfortunately, this is our busy season now that usually people are closer to home. So it's a little bit nerve-wracking, but our guests have been wonderful. So we really appreciate their support.
Well, we hope they continue to support you as well. The Cortney Casey with us. She's with Blue Skies Brewery and Michigan by the Bottle.